we're going to have to back start because we have, honestly, fantastic session for you. Wait till I show you some of these updates today. It's unusually useful for end users this month. Start with Copilot. Web content setting moves to settings in M365 Copilot. So you know that M365 Copilot is grounded in your content inside your work, and you can look at the web as well. So on this screenshot here, we've gone into Copilot, top right hand corner. We've clicked on the three little dots. We've clicked on settings and more, and we find ourselves here. We have gone to personalization, and we've scrolled to the bottom, and this is collapsed normally, the advanced option in there. And here you can turn on or turn off the web search, and it's a persistent setting that affects everywhere. So just be aware of that. It might be that actually you just want your Copilot just for whatever you're working on today to focus just on internal stuff, and you can turn that off. It might just be a bit outside of mind. It might be worth you sharing that so people know where this setting has disappeared to, and you should have that now. I'm going to slow down just a little bit for this one because it's a bit more detailed. Changes to notebooks in M365 Copilot. This kind of snuck in just after the last session we had. So this has been around for a little while actually, but it just kind of missed the cutoff for the last one. So notebooks have changed. You've heard me in the past really struggling with Copilot notebooks and what you would use them for. I'm really open about the fact I've struggled with the use of them, but I've come to like them, especially for learning topics. I became a fan of them, and then they changed. So when we then click on notebooks on the left hand side, no, so you used to click on notebooks in Copilot, and you could choose one to open up. That has changed. I'm not really sure. I'm not a super fan of it, if I'm honest. And you see it. So we see a list of them, and we can choose one here. So I've got a notebook open, and I've got this one here where it says it's my learning Copilot notebook, and I've added my references. But when I click on it, look at this. I see the chats that I'm having with it. I see the things that I've created and my references. This is almost like it's become almost like the shop window of my my notebook. And I'm sure it makes sense to somebody, but I struggle with it a little bit. Here's the thing that you might want to just point out to your colleagues. Look at this option here. So up here we have open in OneNote. So if we click open in OneNote, it takes us to OneNote, and this is the experience that you might be more familiar with. We've got our overview, we can create stuff, we can add our references, we've got our content down here. We've got our summary, and we've got our key insights on the right hand side. So if you find that that notebooks have become a little bit brief and just you get that overview, make sure that you can look for this option, the open in OneNote, and then you get that familiar experience that you're used to. That arrived at the end of the month. So go and have a look at that if you're struggling for where that's disappeared to. Let's go to OneDrive. So interesting at the moment, myself and Tales are working with an organization that are moving from Google to Microsoft 365, and something we hear all the time is where are our files? We can't find stuff, and people do struggle with it a little bit. And some of the changes to OneDrive recently might help with this. So look at this. We're in our OneDrive. I'm just highlighting the fact that we're in our OneDrive. I'm highlighting the fact that I've clicked one of these quick access SharePoint sites on the left. And what we see by default is the default view of that place that I've gone to. But what's great though, look at this. I can create views, change views. I can filter, sort, group content. So it might be that the David Dresner, you have quick access maybe to multiple sites, and rather than having to go into that SharePoint site, maybe you only want to see documents which are new in the last 7 days, and you can do all that from inside your OneDrive. That functionality is coming. So it just means that you can manage it and edit these views directly from OneDrive, and that should have arrived a few days ago for you too. Okay, last couple of things for OneDrive. The thumbnail view for PDFs in OneDrive and SharePoint actually. So just on the left-hand side, you can change this thumbnail view. You can skim through your PDF and just get to it nice and quickly. Okay, great. Create, view, and edit Markdown files in OneDrive on mobile. Whenever I have the bigger calls for like this, when I've got 100, 120 people on the calls, I might get one person that says they uses Markdown. If you're that one person, you'll be delighted to hear that you can create, view, and edit your Markdown files in OneDrive on your mobile device now. Clear sync messages, another a nice little one. Um, when file paths are too long in OneDrive on Windows, instead of just saying it's too long, it's going to tell you by how many characters is it too long. Just going to get a tiny bit more helpful, a bit niche, but that might help somebody, and you should have that within the next week or so. Okay, new entry point for Copilot Outlook. Folks, give me a thumbs up in just a reaction, a thumbs up if you're still using Outlook Classic, or do you use it in the browser now? Have you gone to New Outlook? Just a thumbs up if you're still using Classic. I've been forced to use New Outlook for a couple of days a week, and it's funny what you get used to. And I actually prefer the browser version to New Outlook. It's just fractionally more versatile. But it's amazing what you get used to, and you forget about the things you used to love about Classic. Anyway, I often hear people say on one session, on one organization that I spend time with, they say, "Oh, is that Copilot feature coming to Outlook Classic?" And I wonder whether people overlook it a little bit, because look at this old style over Copilot button at the top here. If you look at the bottom of my screen, I appreciate it's small, folks. In fact, let me zoom back in. It's moving. There's a slot there, and it's just going to move down to there. Only a tiny thing, but I wonder whether when that moves in your organization, it might be an opportunity just to draw people's attention back to Copilot in Outlook. And don't forget, if you've only got Copilot Basic, it's incredibly useful in Outlook. It still does a lot of stuff. It's surprising how much how useful it still is in Outlook. So I reckon when that changes, there's a good opportunity for you to revisit Copilot in Outlook with your colleagues. Although you're gonna have to wait until August, September for that one. Copilot moves into the Outlook Compose experience. Okay, and I quite like this. Let's have a look. So on here, so this is on the web. It's New Outlook. Yeah, on the web and new. Look at this. So what I've done is that I've highlighted this text. This is actually a screenshot for mine. I've highlighted this text. I get the little sparkly pencil on the left-hand side. And rather than having to work on the email as a whole, I'm now just highlighting little tiny bits, and I can say maybe change the tone. And look at this. I can very quickly make changes. I can do things just on little bits. It means that it can be my email, and I can just get help with the little bits that I want. I think that's a really nice little change. Again, you should have that. You should actually have that now. Another opportunity just to revisit. I think one of the things I love about Evergreen updates is that it's often not just a thing that we talk about, is it? This Copilot change in Outlook is a really great opportunity to look at the bigger topic of Copilot in Outlook and revisit some of those features. Okay, some quick ones for Outlook. Set your work location from the Outlook mobile calendar. So just this morning, I was looking at, I was in Teams, looking at today, and at the top I saw little icons from my colleagues. So it showed my work hours and location. It showed that I was working remote. I saw some people, click on them, and you can see whether they're in the office or they're remote. It might be that you're on the way to work, especially if you live in the UK, you're on your way to work and your train gets cancelled or it's super late. You can go onto your mobile and just change it to working remote. And people can see that actually you're not coming into the office. So not all of your colleagues will look there, but those who do, it just helps them. Clear RSVP selection in Outlook Mobile. I've talked about this before, but it's a little bit delayed. There you go. There's my RSVP. I said yes. I can edit it easily. That is definitely clearer. Mobile, Outlook on mobile. Follow a meeting. So I didn't know you couldn't follow a meeting from mobile. I talked about this before, but up until I saw this update, I didn't know that wasn't a thing. So it might be that you want to follow a meeting. So when the meeting starts, the people who are starting the meeting, they get a little pop-up saying Mark is following this meeting, consider recording or starting a transcript. So if you want to follow something, make sure you follow that meeting, because people get prompted to give you something to refer to. Meeting insights in Outlook are retiring, so they are going over the next month or so, and the replacement is Copilot functionality. So if that's something that you use, the meeting insights, you need to look at Copilot alternatives. SharePoint. Okay. natural theme for SharePoint editing tools. It might be that you have a theme. Look at this. So you can see that a lot of the background here is like this creamy color, but annoyingly so are the controls. And it might be that actually maybe my eyes don't get on with that, or I need things to be more distinct. So I'm going to click along and look at the change. So if we look at the image on the right hand side, instead of it being instead of it following the theme, it's actually they're just going to be plain and neutral. And you can see they kind of jump off the page again, don't they? So if we look at number one and that joint number two, they kind of jump off the page. So only a small point, but I wonder whether even if you don't struggle with colors or some colors you don't get on with, if you spend a lot of time in SharePoint, the fact they pop off the page, I think would just be a nice way of working. Only a small point, late August to early September, but I do like it. Okay, some quick ones. SharePoint button web part can now launch Copilot prompts or Power Automate flows. Okay, so this almost deserved a page on its a slide for itself, if I'm honest. However, there's very little to say about it. And in the admin center, there weren't any images to go with it, and I didn't have it. So if I did a whole slide on it, there would just be very little to say. But just to talk about this, a button on a SharePoint page to launch Copilot in the right hand on the panel on the right and launch a prompt that you have set into the button. So it might be that you've got an induction page for people joining your organization, and you might say you might have a button that says click here to get an overview of the latest updates for recruitment or something, and then Copilot right on the right side and it will execute that prompt. I think that's got massive potential. I think this looks fantastic. I haven't really done it justice. It might be that once I get it, I think I might revisit this next month once it's working and maybe show it to you. But just keep an eye on that one. The SharePoint button web part is about to get superpowers. A delay to the ability to create charts. Now, this was delayed, but it's delayed to a couple of days ago. So you might have this now. So you're adding web parts. You go to web parts. There's a new section there for AI, isn't there? Um, and there's now three, and one of them is creating a chart. You know what? The chart one is surprisingly good. If you haven't tried that yet, just the ability just to create a nice clear chart within seconds is fantastic. So go and check that out if you haven't tried that yet. What else do we have? Flexible section authoring improvements. So look at this. Just a reminder that this telescope tells you this one is further off in the distance because it just recently appeared on the roadmap. It hasn't made it onto the admin center yet. Flexible section authoring improvements. So if you create SharePoint pages, you'll know that you've got a section that is flexible, and you get like there's a little grid, and you can put anything you want on there. So if you got anything like me, I can create quite nice SharePoint pages because it's nice and structured. When I go to the flexible section one and it's just a blank canvas, I'm not creative enough for that, and I struggle a little bit. This changes. You can apply similar structure that you have elsewhere on your sections and your web parts to the flexible thing. So it'll help you build structure and then you put things on. It's quite difficult to describe. Maybe I'll show it to you there at a time. But I think this is making the flexible, bringing structure to the flexibility. I'm going to leave it at that. I would like to look at that because I think that for people like me who aren't super creative, I think that's going to make flexible sections more useful. And I think this is the last one, creating new workflows with Copilot in SharePoint. So you know that I think it was the 16th of July alerts were turned off in SharePoint. So if you stop getting those alerts, it's because they've been turned off a couple of weeks ago. And of course, we have workflows in there. But what if your colleagues struggle with workflows a little bit and they just don't know where to start and not really sure what they can do? Well, Copilot SharePoint, you can just tell it that when a new document is added to this, I would like you to share a post to this channel in this team, say this about it, and share a link, or send it to me in a chat or whatever. So you just be able to talk to Copilot, and it will set up your workflows for you, and you can tweak them in there. I think that's going to be really interesting. I'll talk to you about that, no doubt, no other time. Okay, let's see what's happening in Teams. Okay, the Meet app used to show you meetings, and for a short time you could look at your previous meetings, you could select them and get an overview. The Meet app has been split in two. So we have the recap app. So it's just been split into a recap, and what's left of it has been revamped and rebranded, and it's now called Events. Okay, so this is this new icon here. You'll probably have to go to the three little dots, look for it, and then pin it if you want to. Centralized hub for creating, editing, and tracking events. Nice templates to use. It's like it has like event landing pages in there, event landing pages. However, all that stuff I've just said on that screen is for people who create and organize and do stuff with events and webinars. So it's not just technically the term events. But I'm going to go back. Here's what I really like about it. So there's not a lot in here because this is my test area. Last time I created in this organization where I work on the laptops behind me, maybe create, I don't know, 15 webinars a month or more actually. My friend and colleague on the call, Terence, he does quite a few as well. And when you create a webinar now, it points out that it's going to be discoverable in the Events app. And what I found is that when you go to events in an organization that's got a lot going on, you can come to events and it just surfaces all this stuff around you. If they're open and anyone can sign up to them, because after you create a webinar, don't you, and you have to kind of promote it, it's going to surface here. I think that this is worth. So forget about what it does for people who are organising. What about our colleagues who are trying to keep track of what's going on around us? I think we should all share this with our colleagues, with just a couple of notes and saying, if you pin the events and you click on it, you'll know what's going on in our organization. So I really like this, but especially for our end user colleagues who would like to come to the events, and you should have that now. Drag and resize the presenter panel in Teams events. So this is for presenters. It might be that you're in a Teams event and you want to focus on the presenters, and you can decide what people see, how much of the content you're sharing, how much of the organizers say. So you can just get a bit more flexibility on how you set this up. That applies to you, August to September. Another nice little one, open Teams message links in a new window. So it might be that Diana has sent me a message saying, hey Mark, here's the message that I was talking about. She sent a link to the message, and I'm reading Diana's comments. I want to read the other message, but I don't want to jump away from Diana's message. I can do the usual thing where I press Control and click on a Windows device, or Command and click on a Mac, and it will open that up in a new window so I can look at what they're talking about at the same time as reading theirs. One of those little tiny changes that I think is really nice. Joining private teams by code now requires owner approval. So if I send a link to someone to a private team, the owner gets notified and says, do you want to let this person in? Bizarrely, if I did that by code, they were just allowed straight in. Well, those two are being aligned now. And if anyone shares your team using a code, if you're the owner, you then have to approve it as well. I find it a bit. I'm not sure if anyone else is surprised by that the code was that the code didn't have that bit of safeguard where the owner had to approve it. Anyway, we are where we are. That little loophole is getting closed, and that should be done by late September. Support for disabling file previews. So I like this. So it got delayed, but it should be here now. So you think about your meeting chats, thinking about channels. Someone shares a file, you get the preview takes up a lot of space, and I don't know if I've ever clicked one. Last time I looked at it in team settings, just I think it might be, I think it was earlier this week. I found that setting, and you can turn off that preview so you don't get those previews taking up the space when someone shares a file with you. As soon as I could, I did that, but just one of those nice little changes that is useful. Okay, we've got a handful more of these quick ones, and then we're going to slow down for our demo when we get to PowerPoint. Simpler meeting controls and smarter share panel. This has been delayed by quite a bit. September, October. I know it's not obvious from this, but this is actually centralized now. The thing you're looking at here is now in the center. Focuses on attendee functionality. You click more, I then get owner and presenter type functionality. The leave button is out of the way, and you'd be delighted to hear that React, when you click on React, it separates out your reactions to putting your hand up. Because how easy is it to click the hand up button? It's a much nicer experience. Anyone
I,
remember this coming and going? So
I,
we were able to have a new section. Well, actually, the first one was automatic. Muted went into it, had a section created inside your chats, and then your muted chats went in there. I thought that was great. You had the ability to put your meeting chats into their own section rather than just filtering by them. They had their own section. Honestly, I loved it. And then it magically disappeared. Microsoft didn't say anything about it. They just said it's delayed. They didn't say anything about the fact that they'd rolled it back. But maybe 2 weeks ago, they did say, we rolled this back and we now have a new date. Mid-August to late September. That can't come back soon enough for me because it was really, really useful. And how long have I been talking about private chat for organizers and presenters in structured meetings, webinars, and town halls? I think I've been talking about this since December last year. It was June, February. Keeps getting pushed back. I love the fact that myself, Alex, Daniel, Jill, we could be on a call and I could be about to hand over to Daniel and Alex could say, Daniel, don't forget to say XYZ. And so we've got this separate window that we can have out of the way. Keeps getting pushed back. It's obviously more difficult to do than it sounds. October to early November. Last slide on Teams. Get a bit Teams fatigue. Go through these ones. Turning meeting AI on and off during meetings. This has been pushed back as well. The reason I'm showing so many of these because so many of them are so useful. And I just want to make sure that you're reminded of them. You haven't forgotten about the ones that have been delayed, but they're all quite useful this month.
I,
AI on and off. Nice and simple. We've got this sparkle purple button. If that's not sparkly and purple, it means that it's all off. But you can go into it and you can turn certain things on and off. Just really dynamic, really fast. Been pushed back to September. Teams to add granular channel notification settings. This has been pushed back quite a long way to mid-October. Remember I told you about this last month? And I had to read the notes because there are three different settings you could have. Each one you could fine tune 5 different things. You could then apply that to different channels and have it different in each channel. And you could also control for your pop-ups. Um, when I've got that, I'll probably revisit it with some screenshots, but there's no screenshots yet. But that's been pushed back. But I think that might be useful. On hold, that new experience when minimizing Teams meeting window. So look at that, all those controls there, and it's just a nicer layout. For whatever reason, they've put it on hold. They haven't given a new date. They've just said that changes on hold. So what do we have? Planner Agent chat in basic plans. So when I say basic plans, if you don't know that you've got Planner Premium, you've got Basic Planner. So most of us have got Basic Planner. So don't be put off by that the basic plans part. So Copilot surfacing in its usual floaty place in the bottom right hand corner. And we can ask about planner status, priorities, what's coming up. Let's have a look at this. So I'm saying, showing this plan, my top 3 tasks to focus on today. Maybe you've got 1 hour. You've got 1 hour and you just need to get some stuff done. What are my priorities? Instead of you going for it, opening it up, trying to work out what's urgent. Is it urgent for you? Is it urgent for somebody else? What's got your name on? I know you can do all these filters, but you can just cut straight to it. It goes, here are the top 3 tasks to focus on today. Just get on with it. Um, you can create new plans as well, but a thing that I really like in here. So sure, you can create new plans. You could do that in Copilot chat. You could open the planner agent, couldn't you? You could do it from in there. Uh, but else to do it in here is fine. It's interesting. I like that. But what I really like is being able to say to your colleagues, we use Planner, and as you've got Copilot, then you've got this option here, and this will help you just keep on top of things. Just a fantastic update. Late August to late September. Access brand assets in PowerPoint. So this relies on 2 things: your organization setting up your brand kits, and you having Copilot. So I'm not going to spend too long on this. But what I do find interesting is your personal brand kits are available if there aren't any official kits. I don't know how to create it, if I'm honest. I haven't looked at this properly yet, but I do like I like the idea of being able to create my own brand kit for use. And look out for this icon here. I know that the applying brands has been knocking around for quite a long time in PowerPoint now, and Copilot hasn't it? But it's just getting its own little place to live. Mid-July to late August. Um,
I,
Copilot. will summarize and categorize text in Excel. Let me set the scene here. What I did here, I downloaded the M365 roadmap, and there's like, I don't know, 1,500 rows on there. And there's a particular column in there. So column C has got you've got a detailed description of a change that's coming, and you look at it, and honestly, you just glaze over looking at it because there's so much in there. Wouldn't it be great if Copilot could help you categorize this and sort this out? Well, guess what? So let's have a look at this. So I've got my spreadsheet, I've opened Copilot, and I say for column C, identify themes and generate categories or tags for each entry. Bearing in mind that there's a gazillion in here. When I say a gazillion, there's 1,647. And what it's done is it's gone through all of them, and it was looked at them and said, this is a description of a security and compliance matter, or this is about meetings and events. And it's gone through and it's categorized them. Not just that, but if we have a look here, so it's put it into the next column available, which is N in this case, and it's put it in. So if you look at this, these now have these categories, and of course I can filter and sort and do all sorts by that. Now imagine that Dawn McDermott, you've done a survey, and there's a and you've had 3,000 responses, and there's a free speech like a free type thing, and people have just put their answers in. Being able to try to categorize those unstructured columns, I think it's amazing. And those people who use who do that sort of thing that I've just made up that Dawn does, I think that's going to be super useful. I think the ability just being able to organize and sort it, I think it's going to be super useful. Oops, late July, so you should have that already, folks. Reusable templates in Planner, another amazing one. Let's say that Drew Hart, every month you have this cycle that you need to work on. You and your colleagues, like every month you have this kickoff, you got to do all these things. Look at this functionality. This will work great for you. So we have the ability to publish any plan as a reusable template. So we say we'd like to share it. Then we say we'd like to publish it as a template. We decide what would you like in that template, so you can pick out the bits that matter to you. And then once you've given it a name and a description, who do you want to share this with, and we can publish it. And then it resets all the task status and the progress. So all the tasks that you've got just go back to blank. So you can probably do this halfway through the month or at the end, or you can say, this worked really well. We should use this every month. And you can do that due early to late July. And that, again, another fantastic opportunity to give a planner another plug in your organization. One-click ribbon buttons for review presentation and visualize slide. Remember last month, maybe last month or the month before, I told you about the Copilot skill of review presentation. It'll tell you all about it and where it can be improved. That's getting its own button now. Rather than having to go into Copilot, click the little plus sign, go to skills, it's got its own button, and it's just a shortcut straight to it. And the same for visualize slide, where you got a slide with loads of text, and you want it to look pretty, not entirely branded, I'm sure, but you click on design, click on visualize slide, and then it will do it. It's just a nice fast way into there, and you should have that as well. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Is anybody using custom skills in PowerPoint? So relatively new over the last month or so. I'm getting one shaky head. That's always helpful. Actually, that sounded sarcastic. It's actually useful to hit to get to the response. Is anyone using it already? I think this is worth us having a few minutes and having a look at, because I think it's so powerful and it's so useful. One of the things that I like to focus on is the way Copilot, not just Copilot, M365 generally, but Copilot at the moment, how it can make a real difference to people. Whether it's having custom meeting notes so that your boss always approves your notes about a meeting, and you reverse engineer what they want, and that works really well. Or using a scheduled prompt and pinning to make sure on a Friday afternoon you haven't missed anything, or maybe you got to review every 3 months. You have a chat with your boss about your performance. You know what? Why don't you get Copilot every week to look at your job description, look at your organizational standards and the way that you work and your maybe in the UK civil service have got things that they need to abide by. Get us to look at all your meetings, all your chats, all your documents, and then create evidence about how what you've done this week meets your objectives. So the things that make a difference to people, I love. Now, I know an organization at the moment that's going through a rebranding, or there will be soon, and I think this is going to be so useful to so many people. So let's have a look at this. Creating use your own custom skills in Copilot in PowerPoint. So I'm using a custom skill, and it's going to appear here, and then I can just say use the skill on this slide deck, and it will do some stuff. So let's start digging into this. So these are custom skills. So I've clicked the little plus sign. I've clicked on my skills, and I've said I want to look at my custom skills. There's a slight disconnect because these skills have to live somewhere, don't they? They actually live in your OneDrive. That's why it is a personal, because they live in your OneDrive. And it's a bit clunky how you get there. And you're going to see two slides on this, folks, because they've updated it. Now, I've got the old version, and somebody I work with called Mandy, she's got the new version. So I'm going to show you both. So what do we have? So we've come to our, how do you use them? So we're in PowerPoint, click on the little plus sign, say we'd like to choose our skills, and then we can choose a skill and apply it. You can manage these skills, and you can turn them on and off, and you can disable them if you want to. It's up to you whether you even see them. Okay, so depending on what you might just want them out of the way, or you might want them activated. Don't worry, I'm going to make this will make more sense in a minute, and you'll realize why I'm doing a demo, because it's very difficult for me to show you this on the slides. That should be available to you now. This updated interface, which some of you will have, some of you won't have, which is frustrating, which is why I'm showing you both. When we go into manage skills, and I'll show you where this lives in a minute, we can click upload a skill. So if someone sent you a skill, you can upload it. That helps a little bit with not having to know where it lives and having to go off to your OneDrive and find it, although I'm going to show you that. I think it helps with the disconnect. I think a lot of people who could use this will struggle just because it's a bit clunky to use, but maybe you could help people with this. When I say help people, a colleague yesterday, I showed it to them. I emailed them my skill file. They came here, they click upload skill. They uploaded the skill that I sent them, and then it was ready to use. Simple as that. Just this second slide solves a lot of pain. Why don't we have a look at that? So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to, let me just double check, just check in with somebody. Ioannika, Olivia, can you just let me know you can see my PowerPoint slide deck that I've got up?
I can see it.
Okay, so the reason that it's so rough and ready and such a mess, because I wanted this to not look too polished. I wanted it to be real. So this is a real slide. There's some of the slides that you see, they've got these things that are around them. This is just a real slide. So I want it to be authentic. I'm going to kick off some changes on here, and then we're going to talk about how it's set up, because it'll take a minute or so. So let's just kick it off, and then we'll talk about how we set it up. I'm going to open Copilot. I'm then going to say that I want to add content. And what I'm actually adding are the skills. I'm going to pause for a second here. I'm going to click on Manage Skills. So I don't want to use it yet. I'm going to click on Manage Skills. I'm going to click on Custom Skills, which may be grayed out if you haven't used it yet. And I'm going to say, I'm going to click on my Skills OneDrive folder. So I want that to be opened in the background, just so we can come back to it. Okay. So I've got that open. So I'm going to show you where the files live. I'm going to apply a skill to this. So I'm selecting this one that I've uploaded. Now, what do I want to do? You imagine I've got a slide deck, and I need to present it somewhere else, or do something else different with it, or maybe your organization's having a rebrand, and you have to. You don't want to maybe you got a training slide deck or a recruitment slide deck you use all the time, so you need to change the font, the color, the size, the capitalization of the headings. You need to change the font, the size, the color, everything about these. Then for your bullet points, you want those to be a different color. You want them to be a different ratio to the content that's in there. And you want you to go through and do this to all of your slides. You might have different things and different headings, but let's just keep it at that now. Imagine I've got 50 slides like this, and I've got 15 different changes that I need to make. And yeah, I know that you can copy and paste the formatting, but it is time consuming. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I've loaded the skill, apply to slide 2. I'm going to fire that off. And we'll have a look in a minute what it's actually doing, okay? Now, you might say to me, Mark, if you're doing one slide, it'd be quicker to just do it yourself. Yes, of course it would. But if you've got multiple changes to make to one slide, but you need to then do that to 25 of them or 50 or even more, it's going to take ages, but also consistency. This is perfect every time. You remember that I opened that folder earlier. So this got created in my OneDrive. My files, documents, Copilot. Here's a new area, Microsoft Copilot. So Microsoft PowerPoint. It created a folder called Skills. Now, here's the interesting part. This skill, the actual skill file itself, is just called Skill. The name that you saw comes from this folder name. Okay, that can't have any spaces, has to be lowercase. There's some rules around it. It gets its name from the folder. Inside the folder lives the skill. Now you've heard me talk about Markdown documents. The reason I introduced Markdown documents was for this type of functionality. Okay, so let's have a quick look in here. So we're going to open this up. Okay, the name has to be identical to the name of the folder, or it won't work. Okay, there's lots of these little. It feels like early days. There's loads of little things that get caught out. What I've got in here, let's have a look at some things that it does. Okay, to the titles, font, size, weight, capitalization, font color, is it italics, underline, character spacing? What else do we have? Let's go a bit further down. I'm not going to show you everything because it just takes too long. Again, look at what a detail that gets applied to the text. What else do we have in here? Okay, how about all the bullets? What is the character, the bullet font, the color, the percentage of the associated text? It is perfect it is pixel perfect every time you apply one of these skills to your PowerPoint slide deck. I can't tell you how useful this is to me. This is beyond fantastic. Okay. It's still working away. But let me just tell you about how you would do this. So you might look at that and go, Mark, that sounds fine, but that file looks like a horror story. And why are there 250 lines? Where do I ever start? Why don't we tell you how to start, folks? And it's quite enjoyable and quite you have a go at this yourself later. Go to your target slide that you want to change, and make your changes. And don't do it yourself, but tell it. Oh, that is asking, where does it come from? I'm about to tell you. So say to Copilot, change this heading to this font, and this font. Oh, there you go. It's just done it. Can you see that on my screen, folks? It's just replicated. So the same as one before. The title is perfect. The font, hang on, let me just drag this over a little bit. Let me just make that a bit smaller. The font that it's chose is perfect. The bullet points are perfect. Everything is perfect. I haven't set it up to do the image yet, but you can create a folder with your images in. That'll change those as well. Perfect every time. Okay, so now it's asking how do you create this? Okay, here's how you create it. So you would tell Copilot to look at first what I did. I got a sample slide, and I said, what can you tell me about this heading? Tell me about the font, the location, the size, the code for literally everything about it. And it said, here's what it is. Okay, apply that to slide 2. It applies it to slide 2. And we just tell me everything about here. Tell me everything about the location, the exact, like pixel perfect, where is it? Tell me about the bullet point. Literally just tell me about everything. Now apply that to the next one. And you keep doing that until your destination slide is perfect. And then you say to it, Copilot, I want you to create a skill for me that I'm going to put into a Markdown file. and I'm going to use the skills for this. And what I did, I pointed it to, I pointed it to, da, 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 I pointed it to this, choose skills, manage skills, custom skills, learn more. So I pointed it to this page so it could get all the rules, and there's another one at the bottom that's got all the parameters and the way it needs to be laid out. Create that file for me. It created the file for me. So then I clicked open the skills folder, open my folder. I came to here. I created a new folder. I then gave that folder a name, and then inside that folder, I said I want to create a markdown document. I pasted that stuff in. So you get rid of all this, paste that stuff in, and honestly, it probably won't work first time. And you'll say to Copilot, this isn't working. Why is it not working? And it will say, Mark, well, you've named this wrong, or this isn't right, or make sure that the name of the folder is the same as the name on your first row inside your skill. And then it appears. I think that's a fantastic skill. If you for consistency and perfect every time, if you're using a slide deck from somewhere else, if you're rebranding, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else it can do. Like the examples they give are copying and do. I just can't wait to see how much that can do. And maybe if you go and have a play with that, maybe come back next month and tell us what you did with it. Okay, so we need to crack on, don't we? Because we're almost out of time. What else is going on around 365? Microsoft Edge now blocks screen capture for sensitivity label protected PDFs, as I think it should. That should be by late August. Planner is coming to Outlook and M365 Copilot app. It's just going to appear on the left-hand side. But Planner's getting a bit of a push, isn't it? Arriving early, Planner to remove the constraints between task and start dates. It actually says if you want your start date to be after your due date, you can. And if you change one date, it doesn't change the other dates. So all the constraints are going. Teams, so Planner coming to shared and private channels has been pushed back again late August. I think people have wanted that ever since private channels appeared, but that's due late August. Capabilities in Microsoft Cowork. So if anyone's still using Cowork and you're brave enough to have it turned on and risk the token cost, if anyone's interested, we can help you with that, by the way. There's a lot to consider, but if you want support with that, we can help you with that. Anyway, being able to have Planner inside your Cowork, not only does it see what you need to do, it will do stuff for you. It'll prioritize it, do posts for you, draft your emails. It will just help you do your tasks. Amazing. Surveys agents retiring. Do you know what? It kind of probably should never even existed, should it? Surveys agents. That functionality is just going into forms now, as you might expect.